What's going on, guys? Another choppy day in the markets. Actually, before we get started, let me check if it tweeted that I went live. Probably didn't again. No, I did not. Give me 1 second. All right, now we can get started. Yeah, another choppy day, guys. We had another meeting today. It was a House committee talking to the chairman pal again. Seemed like it was going all right in the beginning. Everything was climbing. They're still talking to him actually right now, and it seems like the markets are selling off now. Pretty strong sell-off right before we started stream. What's going on, Josh? We found a little bit of support. Kind of looked like it was kind of bull flagging a little bit. Now that I look at it in hindsight, it kind of looks like a head and shoulders. You kind of have a head and shoulders neckline on that 5-minute pivot. You broke down on that 5-minute pivot and failed. So, looking pretty bearish. I'm not really holding anything right now. APT is the only thing I currently am holding. The only trades we took today were I closed Apple for break even, and I closed CZR for I think it was about 80% gain. So that's a really good trade. We bought that on the close yesterday, sold it on the run up today. It was up about 120%. We let it go for 80. It was a pretty good trade. Just like Microsoft, where we bought it on the close, sold it on the open after a little bit of a run up. So those are always the really good trades. You don't have to hold them very long. A little scary holding them overnight, but once we open up and run a little bit, we can let them go. Josh said I'm down 6% this week. Tough. Yeah, I was telling people in Discord, man, don't beat yourself up too much because it's a rough week. It is not an easy trading week. Last week was much easier. The market was pretty much just uptrending, a little bit of a pullback. But for the most part, this week is not easy. So I wouldn't beat yourself up too much. What's going on, Digital? But yeah, basically everything we called out last week, stuff we called out this week, had some really good trades. The main ones to mention, Roku, DraftKings, Peloton, Beyond. Called out Beyond yesterday. What else is on here? Microsoft is running again. Square was running. A lot of you guys got those $95 calls. Those things are doing very, very well. It's pulling back a little bit here towards the all-time high. You're back below that level that I mentioned in Discord, that 97.50. So a little bit of a pullback here, but Square, if it doesn't pull back too deep, we probably could see an all-time high either by Friday or next week. So definitely keep Square on your radar. Spotify, we called that out. It actually looks really good right now. Spotify breaking out. For you guys in Discord, we talked about Spotify, I believe, yesterday or the day before. Looking really good now. Yeah, Baidu as well, Mike. Baidu looks really good. I'm going to keep my eye on Baidu. I really like Baidu a lot. No music today, guys. I did get copyright striked yesterday for playing that piano music that I normally play. It's the first time I've been striked on that, so I'm going to have to find some new music. That'll be okay. We'll have a new music thing probably by Friday.
For you guys in Discord, real quick, I'm trimming up a lot of my positions right now. I just closed my in the money Apple positions. I closed a lot of my DraftKings positions.
What's going on, Michael? He said AVTI came today. I doubled up quick. AVTI. Are you talking about Activision? I think you mistyped it. I think you're talking about Activision. Yeah, Activision, we called that out in Discord last week. We also mentioned it this week as well. It had a very nice inverse head and shoulders playing out. We were looking for a break of that pivot. I have it marked out here on the screen. And we closed above that pivot yesterday, and then we had a really good run today. I didn't take a trade on this just because Activision, the candles on Activision are always a little choppy. They got a lot of wicks. They're almost always dojis. It doesn't really give you a great confirmation signal. So I didn't take the trade on this, but anybody in Discord who took that, you're looking really good. We had another very green day in Discord. We had pretty much everybody making money. 2 people had a little bit of a red day, but that is to be expected on a week like this. But it's awesome. It's awesome seeing you guys pick up trades and make some money. Even a lot of the trades that you guys are playing are trades that we're not even playing. So it's good to see that. Invax was another big one. JMA called that out to me. I posted a chart in Discord. I believe it was yesterday, and it ran. It ran hard today. Very, very strong. What was that level I marked? I think that's a 4-hour pivot, I believe. Let me see. Not sure where I got that level from. But you are failing that top there. Very, very nice day trade on that one. QCOM, we called that out earlier this week. Bounced off that trend, tested that pivot, looking pretty good. Most of these tech companies are kind of like topping out with very low volume, so they're getting a little sketchy here. Might be interesting to play them later this week if they sell off, maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday of next week. But a lot of these tech companies, they're kind of topping out here. They're like hovering right next to their all-time highs or next to their weekly highs, and there's just no volume coming in. So they're a little sketchy, but we're definitely keeping our eye on them because the tech companies, they've got really good options. They've got good order flow. They've got good open interest. Facebook here looks pretty good. Closing above that Tinkin line. Nice little hammer. W Day, one that we mentioned today, closing above that pivot on the daily, is also looking really good. What was that? PayPal, Wayfair. Wayfair, I called it out. It was in our video on Sunday when I released the watch list video. Looked really good for a breakout, nice ascending triangle, very standard. Only problem was Wayfair does not have very good options. The volume's low, the open interest is low. So that could have been more of a stock play. That's pretty much it for the things that we're watching. Oh yeah, Net, absolute monster today. We called this out last week. It was also in our video, I believe. Not sure, but we called this out for a trend test. Had a very nice daily trend test. Problem with Net, a lot like Activision, it doesn't give you very clean signals. The candles are all usually dojis, very big wicks, and they've got a lot of gaps. Not a lot of clean candles on Net. But you can see once it bounced off that trend, it gave you one nice candle here on, what was that, June 15th. I believe that was Monday. Yeah, Monday. Had a very, very nice close above resistance, kind of like what we saw on Peloton. And then it just sent it after that. A lot like the other tech charts we're watching, that ascending triangle pattern. Yeah, KR doesn't look too bad. You're bouncing off of the 50 moving average. Doesn't look terrible. 4-hour bulldog, a lot of resistance though. I don't know what's been going on with Kroger lately, but look at the weekly. Just complete chop. The daily doesn't look much better. Not a very easy chart to trade. Michael, for the Discord, it's just going on a 30-day basis. So whenever you sign up, you'll have 30 days. So we don't just charge everybody at like the end of the month. It's just going to be 30 days after whenever you sign up. If you signed up today, you would get 30 days of access. If you want to have the most. I mean, yeah, you would always have 30 days. I mean, if you signed up on like a Monday, it would be different as if you signed up on like a Saturday, I guess. But you'll always have 30 days. Me and JMA have discussed doing trials, but we're just not going to do them right now. That'll be something we do down the line. Because we just opened up the options side of our Discord. And we don't feel it would be necessary to do trials immediately. But basically every day, either JMA or I will post little screenshots from our members or different things that our members are like today. I posted, "Are you guys green or red today?" And I posted that on Twitter. Showed that most of our members are red today, or sorry, green today. And I posted that yesterday as well. So we do a lot of like little testimonial stuff like that, and we do a lot of posting of like gains and whatnot to kind of show you guys that our community is doing very well. I'm looking around on the charts today, guys. A lot of the dailies look really good. The only problem is the shorter time frames, like the 1 hour, 4 hour, they're not as clean. If Apple closes above the 4 hour here, the 4 hour pivot, this could be very strong. The problem is the 1 hour on Apple, you actually have a slight bear div here, and you're kind of rolling over. I mean, this could be a cup and handle. You could have kind of a cup and handle here. So we're definitely, Apple is going to be the top of our watch list probably for the next week or so. But it doesn't look good enough for me to buy it and hold it overnight. Netflix looks pretty strong here. Netflix was looking very bearish. You had a head and shoulders forming. You started to fail below the head and shoulders. The right shoulder started to fail below that 50, but you immediately recovered. You were not able to break that neckline, and now we're actually breaking the shoulder line. So the shoulder line on the highs here is being broken. So Netflix is actually looking pretty bullish now. Hey, that's awesome, SR, man. That is awesome to see, dude. I'll probably use those on Twitter later today, if you guys don't mind. It's a little ominous sitting here with no music, but everything I play gets copyright strike, so I gotta be careful. There's a couple of things at the top of our watch list. I'm not going to talk about it too much on stream. We have been talking about it in Discord. There are a couple things that I'm waiting for little pullbacks to get in. There's a couple things that look good right now, but not good enough to hold overnight. The problem is, if we look at the ES and the NASDAQ, it's doing exactly what we talked about on stream. We talked about it in Discord last week, this week. When you have that kind of uptrend and you failed that resistance, now we're pulling back, you're putting in that trend, right? So what this tells us is the trend could be breaking out into a new high, because that's how you continue your uptrend, right? But we're not. It's failing that high, you're pulling back, and you're failing already. This is a lot earlier than I anticipated. I thought it was going to get back to maybe the pivot. So who knows? We might have a green day Thursday and Friday. We might still push up a little bit. But if it fails to get above this pivot by Friday, that's looking a little scary. We probably will see a pullback next week if it doesn't get above that pivot by Friday. Yeah, Kif, to answer your question in Discord, it does look like a flag on the 1 hour. It's kind of like more of a bilateral triangle, but yeah, you could consider that a bull. a bull flag. Let's look at this on, what is this? On SPY, the problem is there's a massive gap there, right? It's not a complete bull flag because you gapped up into that consolidation. So that's a little scary. The 1 hour looks decently bullish on SPY. You're still above the 50. You're above the Tinkin line. Problem is there's no buy volume. You're consolidating, losing momentum. You have a massive gap below you that did get filled by a wick, but it has not been filled by bodies. You could still fail down to fill that. And then if you go to a higher time frame, the 4 hour does not look good. You're just kind of consolidating. There's no buyers. You're still below the pivot. It's in like no man's land right now. You're still kind of waiting for buyers to break out. You're being sold every time it tries to push higher. It's definitely not in a good spot. You said Kroger's earnings are tomorrow. They're supposed to be up 10%. Kroger is just a horrible chart. I don't know what's been going on lately, but it's just choppy as hell. It's still above the 50 though, so it still looks decent on the daily. Doesn't look terrible. Did you guys see Enphase today? Enphase went down negative 30%. I don't know what the hell happened with Enphase, but it's getting nuked. Does anybody know why it nuked like this? Anybody have news? Apple's bleeding. Let's take a look. Yeah, I had a really bad feeling about Apple, so I didn't take that trade. Yeah, so it's forming that 1 minute pattern that I showed you guys in Discord. It just kind of came up and tried to break it one last time. But you can see here, I'll draw it out for you kind of crudely. This is the beautiful thing about using a 1 minute. It does look choppy, but you can see shit like this, where the trend is clearly shifting from an uptrend into a downtrend, right? So, that is pretty obvious. It's coming back to retest that 1 hour support. It is retesting the 4 hour pivot. That is a hangman candle, though. If you look at the 4 hour on Apple, that is a hangman candle. So you had a shoot up there, and then you have a hangman candle on the top. It's like a hammer. So anybody holding Apple, that's not a good candle. That is not typically what you want to see when you're bullish.
I'm completely out.
Yeah, that's a good idea, I think.
Only thing I'm holding right now is that small W day position.
Yeah, I like W Day. Am I blind? Where is it? God damn it. Here it is. Yeah, W Day needs to close above that pivot. It's 4 cents off. So hopefully you push one last time before the close, and it would look really, really good. For Roku, guys, we talked about it on stream as well. You had that inverse head and shoulders broke out. We were looking at the 120 and the 126. 126 was your main target. 126 or 120 was the little mid-range target. 120 was hit pretty easily. Now you're kind of failing that level. Take a look at the Fang. The Fang is nuking here. So whoever took those Netflix puts, I think it was Wu-Tang. He's muted right now. he should be looking pretty good. Netflix is decently bullish on the daily, but that nuke on the Fang is not pretty. That should bring Netflix down. That's pretty brutal. Yeah, ES is nuking here. It's coming down to that 50 moving average that we talked about. You blew through it on the 5-minute. Now you're coming down to it on the 1 hour. The 1 hour needs to hold this 50. If it does not, the trend is going to flip. The beautiful thing about the 50, like I was telling you guys on Twitter, you add it to your chart, it gives you a very good idea where the trend is. Like on the 4 hour here, the 4 hour needed to break above this 50 to continue its uptrend, right? We're not doing that. Thoughts on Microsoft? Microsoft looked pretty good. It doesn't look any good. It doesn't look good anymore. It was looking good. The daily's still okay. As long as the daily stays above that pivot, you're okay. 193. You break below that pivot, it's not looking good anymore. Yeah, Microsoft has been a repeat winner 100%. I closed Microsoft a day early again. But once again, I took 100% profit. All three of my Microsoft trades were 100%, 100%, 100%. Not exactly. I'm give or taking a few percent, obviously. But then the next day, they ran for 200, 300. One of them ran for 900. So I'm taking profit a little early on Microsoft, but it's a continued success. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on Microsoft moving forward. There's no reason we can't continue to do that. Microsoft keeps breaking into new highs. If it does, I mean, there's no reason we can't keep taking the same trade. Ascending triangle, ascending triangle, ascending triangle, every single time, right? It's going to give us the same trade. It pulls back to support. Like JMA's favorite pattern, he likes trading that. Like pull back to support on the daily and you pop up. Same thing. You watch those pullbacks, starts to break the highs. You take the expirations that are like 1 week, 2 weeks out. You look for the strike price just above the high, maybe some Fibonacci numbers. It's easy, man. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's a good trade. It's a good setup. Yeah, Hertz canceled share insurance. Yeah, I saw Hertz got halted. Hertz, you shouldn't go bankrupt, be closing down your company, be closing down your stock, and then a bunch of Robinhood bros come in and fucking pump your stock, and then you're like, okay, actually, we're not declaring bankruptcy, and then they wanted to recover. That shouldn't happen. That should not be a thing. There should be no it's like allowing Robinhood to be the judge, jury, and the executioner, right? They are protecting these companies because of all the retail bros trading so much volume. And people keep saying like Robinhood traders can't move stocks, and for the most part they can, right? Like all these massive companies, the little guys on Robinhood can't move them. But then look at Hertz. That was all Robinhood. That was all like the Wall Street bros.
Deja,
Yeah.
can you check something out for me real quick?
Yep.
SPY 1 hour chart.
Let's take a look.
That wick, is that just a trading view glitch? Because I don't remember SPY coming down to 308 today.
That's at 10:30. Let's see if it's on the 1 minute. No, it came down there. Yeah, it did that.
It did.
Yeah. Actually, hold on. Let me mark this. That doesn't look right. No, you're right. That's wrong.
It's wrong, right?
Or hold on. That's not today. Yeah,
That wasn't today.
that's not today. That's yesterday.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's June 16th. Did it do that yesterday? Oh yeah, that was that massive sell-off that we bought yesterday. Remember when it was bleeding during the meeting? Yeah. Yeah, that was that sell-off. That was when we went fucking balls deep in Apple. And then it recovered. No, I see what you're looking at though. That the way the hourly makes it looks like that was today.
Yeah, I just picked up some SPY puts.
I like that play, to be honest, because the 4-hour ES looks horrible. Yeah, Wu Tang, you were muted. I was talking about you earlier. That was a good play, man. The Fang is nuking, so you should be good. You should be good on that Netflix put. Let me take a look. Where's Netflix? So if Netflix gets back below like 445 and then 441, you should be looking really good. You could go for a gap fill around 436. And then your main targets would probably be around like 430. Apple's bouncing off the 50 moving average on the 30-minute. I'll take a look. I don't have that. Apple is bouncing off the 50 moving at 50 EMA. Okay, I'm on the moving. I use the moving average. So I switched to the simple moving average for stocks and options. I find it works a lot better. I use the EMA for Bitcoin. What about Bitcoin? I'll take a look. Right now it's fuck Bitcoin season. We don't care about Bitcoin right now, but it doesn't look very good. The thing with Bitcoin is if you ignore this deviation here, you have like an ascending triangle. You are resting on support. You have tapped this pivot multiple times. It's given you a dip buy every single time. You're resting on the 50. You're resting on the trail. You have a blue pivot coming in. This blue pivot is really, really strange. Because if you go back and you look at the daily pivots on Bitcoin, it is very rare that you see a blue pivot like this on a high. And not just on Bitcoin. In the way the pivots are designed, that is extremely rare to see. And I can't really put into words why it's doing that without kind of giving you guys my formula, so I can't really say, but that's very rare. And I don't really know what to make of that. What I'm thinking it is doing is when Bitcoin or when anything, if anything starts to sell off rapidly, it will have little stair steps down, right? So it will have a little bit of a bounce, and then it'll nuke, a little bit of a bounce, nuke. Usually these little moves here will cause pivots. So there will be pivots here. That's what I'm thinking is happening here. It has a big nuke downward, and then you're kind of stair stepping, so it puts in a pivot. That's actually very bearish, because typically you'll see these pivots come in, and it's just another leg on the stairs, right? So this should continue downward, and then it will do the same thing. It will nuke, kind of find a little bit of support, nuke, find a little bit of support. These will make pivots. So that's kind of sketchy. I think that's more bearish than it is bullish. Let me see if I can find an example of what I was talking about. Yeah, so here. When you see the nuke on Bitcoin like this is typically where you'll see the blue pivots. Where you have that nuke, pivot, nuke, pivot. That's kind of what it looks like it's doing, just on a smaller scale. Nuke downward, pivot. So unless it gets above that pivot, which is right around, what is that, 94.26, it's not looking good. All right, going back to the ES here, we got 30 minutes until close. It is selling off hard here. So here, ES, exactly what I just said. Nuking, pivot. See that? Nuke, pivot, nuke, pivot. That is very common if you're looking at the Oasis Trading Suite. It will give you pivots like that during sell-offs. And what that's kind of telling you is it's trying to find support, and then it loses it. And it's trying to find support, and then it loses it, right? So if you want this to go back up, and if you're trying to be bullish on ES, it has to reclaim these pivots. If it doesn't reclaim these pivots, it's just going to keep falling. So if this keeps consolidating like this, it will probably find another pivot. It's actually putting on a 5-minute bulldog. A very, very wide. It's like a 15-minute bulldog. You see that, JMA?
No, what's putting in a bulldog?
Yes, it's like a 15-minute. Or you can consider it like a 5-minute.
Oh, like a big one with the
Yeah,
big
like
back.
a really big one. Yeah, like a big dog.
I just bought SPY puts, QQQ puts, and I think I'm buying VIX calls right now. The VIX looks like it's ready to rip.
Let me take a look. Yeah, looks pretty good. Yeah, see, 1 minute, it does the same thing on rip ups, right? So what I was telling you guys on the downward pivot, same thing. You're ripping up here, pivot, you break it, pivot. Now it looks like it's trying to break it. Okay, so it's not breaking it here. Now it's actually regaining it. So now you want to watch this other pivot and the 50 moving average. If you start reclaiming those, then it's going to go back into a downtrend. If you guys follow my Twitter, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday I mentioned if you're trading stocks or options to throw the 50 moving average onto your chart. And then I put a little add on to that. And I said you can also throw the 21 EMA onto your chart and the little gap in between. I don't have the 21. I use the OTS trail. It's very similar. It just acts differently. It's coded differently. But this little gap in between here, that's what I'm talking about on Twitter. This is like the buy the dip zone, right? If you pull back into this zone and you still find support, that's good. That's typically what trends will do, right? It's uptrending here. You're not always going to be straight up. You're going to pull back a little bit, find support, and break out. Let me see if I can find examples of, yeah, so like here, examples of a downtrend. You have that kind of sell the rally area. You kind of pull back in that zone, then you sell off. So for you guys that are kind of new to trading, or even like intermediate, you could throw on those levels on your chart. 50 moving average, 21 EMA. Look for those dips, look for those rallies. It helps you with your patience, right? So like if you're looking to buy something that's rocketing upwards, and you don't want to take the chance of like buying a top, you can wait for it to pull back. The 50 moving average is like a magnet. The 50 moving average will usually, the price will come back and test it every now and then. Now, it won't always test it. So like if it's a really strong downtrend like you see here, it's not always going to test it. So you could be patient for a long time and not get your trade. But a lot of the times you will test it. Apple is still holding that 1 hour pivot. Still holding the 4 hour pivot. You have a slight bull div coming down on the 1 minute. Trying to play out. Slight bull div on the Fang as well, trying to play out. This is that 15-minute pivot being tested, along with the 15-minute bulldog playing out. So we're not going to get to see this play out. Actually, you'll see it after hours, but it's not going to be as clean. I appreciate the follows, guys, on Twitch. Did you say you sold your W day, or are you still holding it?
I got rid of it. I literally have, I liquidated everything. Only thing I'm holding right now is QQQ and SPY puts.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. The W day is kind of rolling over on the 15. Yeah, 1 minute's completely lost its trend. That 1 hour pivot killed you on W day. It ran into that pivot and then nuked.
I'm seeing if I could spot any kind of patterns on the VIX right now.
Let me take a look. So this is VIX is currently testing that level that I was talking about on the 15, where you have that like cluster of resistance.
Yeah.
You get above this pivot here, it could fly.
Yeah, we're above all moving averages right now too.
Yeah. Almost everything on my chart is support except for this one pivot. You get above that pivot, get above the tweezer, it should fly
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, we're also in like a little micro down, or not micro, but a downtrend. If it breaks this right here, this would be a break of the downtrend. Connect all the wicks.
Yeah, you've already kind of broken a lot of your downtrend. I see which one you're talking about though. Yeah, it's actually super clean on the wicks.
Yeah.
I wonder when you're trading the SPY, they give you options for 15 minutes past the close, right?
Yeah, they do.
I wonder if you close that, does it count your day trade for today or tomorrow?
I would probably say today,
Yeah.
if I had to guess.
Microsoft doesn't look that bad, Yasko. Out of all the tech plays that we've been watching, Microsoft still looks pretty good. The only problem is you need to stay above that pivot. And it's doing what I said earlier, where you're kind of like breaking into, you're trying to break into new highs, but you're just dojiing. There's no volume, no conviction. Nvidia, I can take a look. Let me see. Nvidia looks pretty good too for a tech play. Same thing though. All the tech plays are like losing steam. No volume, no conviction, no strong breakouts. NET doesn't give a fuck about this pullback. NET's just ripping. That was sadly missed.
Yeah, that was a dirty trade.
Walmart, USLT, are you still holding those Walmart puts? Because Walmart looks like it's ready to fall off a cliff.
Yeah, that might be actually a good idea to pick up puts on that. Pops back up over the pivot on the daily and failing it again for a second time.
Yeah, USLT took the trade I talked about last week. He was like in it by the time I finished my sentence. You closed those, nice. It doesn't look bad for another short.
Yeah. Daily getting rejected at 8 EMA. It's losing the pivot, clearly losing it.
The puts, the ton of open interest on the 115s, that's a little low. That's basically a lotto. They're only 10 cents.
Yeah.
The delta
I don't even know what I would
is
target.
Yeah, the delta's horrible on those. Delta is 5.
What do you even target on Walmart? Like
I
the
would
previous?
probably target like 115, probably. Yeah, look at the weekly. 115, 100%. The weekly's slightly bullish though, because you're resting on that 50 moving average. But yeah, there's a pivot at 115. This isn't MACD. This is called the Momo. It just looks like the MACD because it's a histogram. They have no similarities in their formula though. The formulas are 100% different.
What were you looking at? What date on the Walmart? The 26th?
Yeah, I wouldn't go 19s. Those would be lottos.
Yeah.
If you wanted a real play, it'd probably be the 26 115s.
Yep.
The delta is it's still a lotto. Delta's 21. Implied volatility is only 27%. That's why it's a very slow mover. If you were looking for a good delta, you would have to take at the money. You would have to take the 119s or the 120s that are already in profit, or they're already in the money. Yeah, because I wouldn't go below like 40 delta on Walmart, especially with that implied volatility. Implied volatility is like the lowest one I've seen.
I just bought VXX calls.
The 4-hour looks terrible on Walmart. There is no buy pressure. Yeah, the 1-hour looks horrible too. Yeah, no problem, Auntie. It's the DBT Momo. If you want to look it up, it's on our website. It's like an all-in-one oscillator. It does reversals, divergence, momentum, trend momentum, short-term momentum, bottom warnings, top warnings. It's the only oscillator that I use. "15 minutes until close." I still like Etsy. Problem is, I think it's going to be a red day tomorrow
Think so too, man.
for most of the stock market. Because I keep looking around charts and the 1 hours, they've got bear divs. There's bear divs on smaller time frames. I think tomorrow would be a good day to kind of let everything cool off and let everything play their bear divs out. "1 minute bull div coming in on SPY. Might see a little pullback on VIX. Yeah, you're seeing it right now. What's going on, Bernsey? What's Caesar at? Is Caesar worth picking up? I don't know if I want to with what the market's doing. It's around 34 cents. I don't know if that's a good idea because I think it's going to follow the SPY. No, I'm not going to do it. I keep forgetting 4-hour pivot. I'm not front running that.
Deja, I'm really thinking about some SPY 305 puts.
Let me take a look. Yeah, like the 4-hour pivot. Out of that area. That's also the 50 moving average.
Not for tomorrow, but for the 26th.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks because I was looking at picking up a bunch of puts on this lower high setup, but this isn't where I wanted. I wanted us to see that daily pivot on ES, and I was going to pick up some puts. It's a little too soon for my liking. But no, I see what you're looking at. The reason I like taking them here is the 4-hour ES is horrible.
Yeah.
It's just rolling over. Massive sell pressure. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I just bought some 305 puts for June 22nd, 5 days till expiration.
The delta on those is 25, not terrible. Not the best. $27 on the 24th. June 26th gives you 29. Yeah, they're all about the same. They're all about 30. I don't know if I could take those. I'd feel better taking the at the monies and targeting that level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basically the same trade, just a different setup. Yeah, if you look at the money June 22nd 311s, massive open interest on the puts. Decent volume too. They're pretty expensive though. Delta is 42. Terrible. Would have been nice to pick up after before that sell off there on the 4 hour.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to stick to my plan. See if we get a higher move later this week. I don't think so, though. I think you might be right. I think this is a 618 pullback.
That'll be what on SPY?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
From the bottom up to here?
No, from the local move.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a really good trade, actually.
You talking about from the daily candle that bounced off the pivot?
If you look at the 4 hour, if you take the dead cat bounce, you take the top to the bottom. This is a 618 retracement. It lines up with the 50 moving average. If you take the top of your chart to the bottom of your chart, you're on SPY. I don't know if it'll be the same on SPY. Let me see. It probably will.
At like 30.10? What's the price at?
313 on SPY, and ES it's at 3114.
I must be charting something different. What you're charting on ES?
Yeah, I did them
4
both.
hour?
Let me take a look at your screen. Yeah, if you take the top to the bottom.
What top though? The top that we
The
this
one all the way
most
to your
previous
left.
one?
The one to your left. Yeah, there.
Up here?
Yep. And then all the way to the bottom. There you go. You have your, I can't read your numbers because the stream quality is not good enough. Is that the 618? You
Be
have,
like
you have,
30, 41?
no, you have yours upside down.
Would be around like 30, 41.
No, that's the 382. You have yours flipped. I remember you used to do that back in crypto too. You do
30.
you do your fibs flipped.
Yeah.
So your 382 is the 618, and your 618 is your 382.
30, 41, right?
No, that's the 382.
No, what are you talking about?
I'm trying to hear. Let me see. So if you take it from the top of your chart, all the way around 3231, or like the top, whatever the top is, June 9,
Yeah.
and then you go all the way to the bottom, around 2921.
Just did that.
Yeah, but see, you're going right to left, so you're doing your fibs upside down.
So you're looking at 30, 41.
No, I'm looking at 3113.
Yeah, it just broke that though.
Yeah, that's the 618 retracement.
Yeah.
So it retraced 61.8%. That's the sell zone. Now you're pulling back.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think your fibs are reversed. I think in your settings.
I thought you were targeting down here.
Oh, no. So yeah, you could target that. You could target the 382. which is the 618 on your chart, I think.
Yeah. No, it's no, it's 38.2 now.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, you could target that. Or you could target the 4-hour pivot. Sorry, guys, on stream. It's probably a little confusing. You can't see his chart. He's streaming in Discord.
5-minute bull div playing out on ES right now.
Nikola about to nosedive just came out. The CEO exaggerated the capabilities of his truck. Oof.
Oh no.
Anybody in Discord, you guys keep talking about Nikola. Told you guys Nikola was a bad bet. Oh yeah, Yasko, you traded it. You got a day trade. That's not bad. Yeah, I don't mind day trading stuff like that. Like using charts like these to day trade because they've got a lot of volume. They've got a lot of interest into them, you know what I mean? But holding these overnight, looking for that secondary pump, that's bad news.
We'll see what the Asians do tonight.
How about Peloton? JMA's out of Peloton. I'm out of Peloton. Peloton is... Where's Peloton? Shit. Here it is. Oh, Peloton's doing exactly what I said in Discord. So it's pulling back towards that ascending triangle high, towards that 4-hour pivot. So if you were holding this week, this pullback would kill you. But if you're holding next week, it should be okay to hold on to, maybe for one more day, to see if it bounces off this pivot. If it doesn't bounce off this pivot, it's bad news. I could have actually taken a put on Peloton to play that trade. I keep forgetting that we shouldn't just be like long call everything. I'm in the Dave Portney mindset, man. Stocks want to go up. So mRNA, I bought this way too early. I don't think I'm going to trade it again just because it pissed me off. But it looks like a really good dip buy here if it bounces off this trend line. Has a nice little bounce here on the 1 hour. Doesn't look too bad, but I'm not going to trade this. Yeah, if you're holding this week, I mean, you can hold on to it and see if it bounces that on that ascending triangle, but that dip probably killed you because you're 2 days away from your expiration. Dips like that are going to put your strike price so far out of the money that your delta is going to be destroyed. So your delta is probably really low now. Which contract do you have?
Are you talking about me, Deja?
No. So I'm talking to somebody in chat.
Oh.
He was talking about he's holding Peloton that expires on Friday.
That's why I got rid of mine.
Yeah. And I was telling him that this bounce we're seeing, this destroys the Friday contracts.
Yeah.
But if you're holding next week, you should be okay for one more day. You're holding the 51s. 51 isn't too far away. Let me see what those are at. You're probably at like a 30 delta. You're at a 34 delta, so they're not... You're not in like your fuck territory yet. But if that gets below like a 30 delta, you're probably fucked. You have a 34% chance of it expiring in the money right now. That's without taking into account theta. You're going to get theta burned again today for 22 cents. This had a rising wedge on the 1 hour as well as the 15. More of the 1 hour, but
It's just a bull div that's playing out on SPY
Yeah,
right
bull
now.
div. Yep, 15-minute bull div. Correct. I'm not taking any trades, guys. If you're listening in Discord, I'm not taking any trades into the close. SPY is doing what I wanted it to do, but not where I wanted it to do it. I wanted it to put in a lower high, but I wanted it to be a lot higher than what it is now. So I'm not going to load up on puts just yet. If we get a red Momo bar tomorrow or Friday, then we could probably look at those. One minute until close. Make sure you guys are buttoned up on your positions. Know what you're holding overnight. Understand the risk. How does Beyond look for Friday? Beyond looked really good. We called it out yesterday. Sadly, I didn't take the trade. I know a couple of guys in Discord did. Oh shit, it nuked.
What did?
Beyond, it came all the way back. Beyond is actually retesting that trend line. This is a shooting star. These are very bearish. I wouldn't trade this. Maybe if it pulls back to trend and bounces, but this is pretty ugly. This was a trade for today. If you're getting it now, you're just kind of like a FOMO trade. I mean, you could play like the 1 hour bounce, maybe 50-minute bounce. But this was a trade to buy yesterday, sell today. You want to take over, JMA, or are you doing something?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be streaming right now. Maybe I might hop on later tonight. If I do, I'll send out a tweet.
Sounds good. I'll hang out for a little bit longer, guys, but I'm getting ready to go to the gym here in a little bit. Markets are closed. You actually closed red on ES. I think you're slightly green on NASDAQ. Closed red on SPY. Now that hammer candle's not looking too good. The candle yesterday. Netflix pumped into the close. It's done that the past couple of days, hasn't it? Like it pumped randomly after hours like 2 days ago. I think it's just a small bull div playing out. I think you're still okay. It closed, oh, actually, no, it closed above the shoulder line. Yeah, it's a little sketchy. If it gets below that shoulder line around 445, you should be okay. I think the Fang was selling off. Yeah, the Fang found a little bit of support. It's kind of putting in a head and shoulders, though. On the 1 hour. You should be okay. You're taking a trade without confirmation, right? So it's going to be a little risky. It's going to be a little risky. But once it starts to play out, it should pay off pretty quickly. Which strikes did you take? Yeah, the 415s. Yeah, those things are expensive. Oh no, you're doing puts. Never mind. Fucking calls are expensive as hell. Yeah, you have like a 30. No, what is it? Oh no, you have 11 delta. Yeah, so your delta is very low. Dude, it's almost like a lotto you're playing. So be careful on that. you only have 11% chance to close in the money. But all right, guys, my throat's starting to kill me. I'm gonna call it a stream. I appreciate you guys being here for stream. I'll be streaming again tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll be in the Discord for the morning call as always. I'm gonna do a lot of scans tonight, see if we can pick up anything that's not already on our watch list. I did some scans last night, didn't find anything. But I'll do some scans. If I see anything, I'll post it in Discord, so watch out for that. But all right, guys, I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys tomorrow, either in the morning if you're in Discord or for Power Hour on the stream.